Good evening and welcome to your 2020 Cross Country Sports Awards presentation. As we can all agree, this year has been one of a kind. But as I continue to tell myself when things did not go the way I had hoped or the way I thought they should have, I remind myself simply, we got to have a season. Someone told me earlier this year that children are like palm trees during a storm. They continue to bend and sway during the storm, but they are extremely resilient and they will be there in the morning. After these last few months, I would agree with that analogy. Our athletes rose to the occasion, were resilient to all the challenges, and were persistent and determined to achieve so much more than we thought could possible. This presentation is only just a small fraction of the work our 70 athletes and coaches have done during the pandemic of 2020. As we all know, it has been like no other. In this presentation, there are 72 slides. It's 1.4 gigabytes without me speaking and just under 3,000 words. And oh, did I mention there's about 16 media clips, not including the speeches. Please also note, I used primarily the pictures from Mr. Deptola's Smug Mug, and I tried to make sure that I had everyone at least one time. But the girls tend to find the camera a little bit more often than the boys do on race day, maybe even throwing in a smile or two. Thank you to Mrs. Abel, who also helped in finding some great pictures and even some of the oldies. Thank you, parents, for sending in pictures of your seniors on such short notice. Thank you for sharing them. I apologize in advance because I know I'm going to forget to mention something or something special who played a key role in our ability to have a season this year. So I thank each and every one of you for your commitment and dedication this season. Seniors, I know especially those of you who have had siblings in the program and you have waited a very long time for this event. I know that this is not what you had envisioned. I hope this video is something that you will be able to reflect on many years later. Just remember, you are the only class to have such a video. Sorry, underclassmen, don't expect this next year. I first want to take some time to mention a few thank yous. First of all, thank you to everyone who continued to back up, wash up, and mask up. Athletes, for your dedication and commitment, even when there were no pasta dinners. All the families who helped on race day. Understanding and grace of all the new and ever-changing practices and race schedules and just the last-minute time changes and locations. Thank you. We continue to thank our families for their support and their guidance with their athletes throughout the season. Also, thank you to our Aurora Sports boosters and those of you who were able to support them either this year or in years past. Thank you for everyone who continue to follow these crazy guidelines and these ever-changing guidelines. Because of you, we got to have a season. I want to have a special thank you to Mr. Powers and Mrs. Tuma. Without them, the season would not have been possible. We started having meetings, virtual meetings with Mr. Powers back in April and continue to have them up until the start of the season and constantly changing and really just going above and beyond of what was expected of them. To thank our trainer, Tom Weimer, with the volume of athletes that we have, it really is a lot, and we could probably use 3 trainers with the size of our athletic programs. And so what he does for our athlete, while this year, unfortunately, there were a lot of things he couldn't do, he still continued to train with them in the summer, which I believe those were a valuable piece to our program. Thank you to our bus drivers who were willing to come in and drive the buses, our custodial staff who continued to help clean the schools and the buildings and making sure things were safe so that we continue to come to school, the meet officials who were willing to come and run the invites. Greg Genovese, he was with the timing crew that helped us out, charges a very fair amount to have the timing so that we could have some official stats for our dual meets. I want to thank Mrs. Kurchinski and her flower shop for senior night. Mr. Keller and all the ever things that he does for us, including announcing the senior night, whistling for the start of the race, Mr. Logan for being an official starter, Mrs. Jones for helping the boosters clean out the grill on a beautiful Saturday morning, Mrs. Carlson and Mrs. Keller, who helped with the senior gifts, Mrs. Bleshman, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Bryant, Mr. Davtola, all shared photos either on Shutterfly or SmugMug each week. Mrs. Lubin and Mrs. Jones and the group of other moms that helped decorate the postseason send-offs and goodie bags. And all the families, again, who helped on race day, either physically or assisting, wearing your masks in any way that you could assist. To our coaching staff. This coaching staff stepped up in the summer when we had no coaches. Not only did they volunteer their time, but they also had to pay for their own certifications to become coaches. Obviously, their commitment to the program, to the team, and all the things that they did were all so that our athletes could have a season. Ms. King did a tremendous job of making sure that all of our COVID policies and attendance policies and all those things were in check. She would do some yoga stretches with the team, showing up early to make sure those temperatures were taken. Mr. and Mrs. Zabel, obviously they love this team, they love the program. Mrs. Zabel continued to do her team parent duties all while taking on being an assistant coach. Mr. Zabel, he eagerly jumped in the position, even though it was technically a volunteer position. He just loves the sport so much. And anytime you saw him, he was just eager and ready to just literally jump in, do the workout, always trying to give the athletes some positive feedback and strategy and some information how to do better. On top of that, week after week, they scheduled their work schedules around helping Mr. Fallenstein set up rain or shine for race days. This is something I physically would not have been able to help with because they literally took the entire day to set those things up. Mrs. Zabel has done so much for this team and this program. I don't even think I can list all of the things that she has done or she continues to do behind the scenes, including getting thank you cards and gift cards and help organizing all those other things behind the scenes. To be honest, if she didn't do it, I don't think that those things would get done. I am beyond grateful for the staff. They did it and they continue to do it with a smile, even when sometimes it wasn't easy and the stress was high. Their daily choices and their commitment to the team is a true reflection of their commitment to this program and to our athletes. I was so beyond grateful the week that I was sick, and I have never missed a cross-country race in over 17 years. And I was okay staying home because I knew they would have it taken care of. I don't think any other year I would have been able to do such. So I'm beyond grateful for all that you have done this season. Mr. Fallenstein, where do we begin? You have spent numerous hours making the wood yard signs for all of our new athletes. We are beyond grateful for all of the work and the commitment that you have done setting up over the years, our time trials, getting that done at Sunny Lake, and now finalizing our home course. Without this home course, we would not have had a season because most of the teams within the league did not have a course, hence the reason we hosted so many. Sorry, to show this. For those of you that aren't aware, this project started before 2005 or 2015. So it's been about 5 years in the making. I had met several times with the park director previous, as well as with Mr. Fallenstein. And Mr. Fallenstein really just took it upon himself and created this absolutely beautiful, amazing course that we now have today. I do have a video link that you are welcome to watch at your own convenience if you have yet to experience the cross-country course. So I will send this video link and you'll be able to access it at another time. So Mr. Fallenstein, the man, the myth, the legend, we are beyond grateful for you and all that you have done for this team. As you know, our fundraising efforts were cut short. We are supposed to still have a mattress sale. Hopefully we can host it in the spring. So hold off if you need a new mattress. We might even be able to set up a private showing if you need one sooner. At one of the practices, I mentioned I have a rain barrel provided by Portage County Soil and Water that needed to be painted, that we could use for a raffle or some sort of a fundraiser. Avery Hendel, Bella Shaw, and Mia Bryant jumped to the opportunity. They didn't even hesitate. They showed up outside my classroom, eager with paintbrushes and paint, ready to go. They spent several hours out in the sun painting, and then eventually took it home. Their final product is currently in my classroom, and it is absolutely amazing. So to be continued on when that gets raffled. Also, thank you to those families who made a donation for the jackets. We raised I believe just under $700 for the sale of those jackets, or the donation of money for those jackets. So thank you very much. Ganley Chevrolet is no stranger to assisting Aurora City schools and fundraising efforts. This year, they provided little shaker bottles with Ganley Chevrolet on them, as well as the Aurora logo. And they encouraged all athletes. If you have not picked up a shaker bottle, please stop by and grab one. I still have about 20 left in my room. And you were encouraged to tweet out and tag the Aurora Athletic Program, the car dealership, with a positive, encouraging, inspirational speech with the potential of winning $500 back to the program. Well, we had one athlete that did not one, but several tweets with the shaker bottle. They even brought it with them to the state meet and tweeted out one last time. Probably one of my favorites. It takes 2 flints to make a fire. So next year, there's going to be some heat. That last tweet is what officially won him the $500 to next year's program. So some of our new athletes may not be completely aware, but we have something called the 250 miles. If you run one of the 3 programs, you'll hit a minimum of 150 miles. And then within the month of August, you will continue to add to that roughly about 100 miles. It's about a 10% increase each week if you continue to follow the program. And this is what we use as our baseline for our summer preparation into the season. This year, we had 30 athletes, about 43%, which is great. It's probably our highest yet. However, it really should be 100%. So congratulations on your efforts. Those t-shirts are not in yet, and I will let you know when those are in so that you will be able to pick those up. Every year there ends up being a phrase for the season, something that I find myself repeating or becomes like the theme of the year. In the past, we've talked about one team, one dream before we qualified to the state meet with the girls team. Running down a dream, just one more, unfinished business. I guess by no surprise, this year was the year of adversity. And we were constantly saying, we get to race another day. Anytime someone would kind of like moan or groan about the workout or something that we were doing. And I'm like, whoa, take a step back. We get to be here today. We get one more day to compete. And I don't even know if we really understand the magnitude of that. But there were many athletes who didn't get the opportunity to compete. Siblings and former athletes at the collegiate level who didn't get that same opportunity. So every time you towed the line, every time you got to show up to practice, it was a blessing. I believe adversity is not always a bad thing. I believe that we need adversity in our lives. It is what pushes us out of our comfort zone and forces us to take those risks and chances, forces us to see the big picture and realize the things that we didn't think we could achieve, we would surpass our own expectations. Every day, I was humbled by the resiliency of our athletes. We cried together and we celebrated together. And they rose above the adversity, and they are better people for it. But will we have a season? I remember talking to Miss King over the summer and saying, come on out. We probably won't even make it to picture day. Picture day came and went. After many Zoom meetings starting back in May, we went from being labeled as a high-risk contact sport, and we could practice, but we couldn't compete. Then we got the word that we were labeled low contact, and we could have dual meets only within our league. Grateful and thankful that we made it that far, but then I was kind of sad because other schools and other competitors were running invitationals. I went ahead and registered us anyways for Boardman. I just said, if they're going to have this race, I want the team to have the opportunity. We were given permission, but we might have wished that we were in the other heat, but we were still grateful for that opportunity. I'm sure you've felt my stress and anxiety in my emails each week. It was like holding my breath and waiting for the bottom to fall out. And we definitely hit that roadblock, and the final outcome was not what we had expected or dreamt about. However, I look back at all the challenges and the adversity, and I know this experience has built character and more determination to come back next year even stronger. And they were such good rule followers after a while, even though they may not have enjoyed it. But because of them, we got to have a season. But what did that season look like? Well, it was primarily ran of dual meets within our small teams. If I'm correct, I believe the boys won 6 of the 7 races, only losing to Highland. And 2 of those races, just our JV teams prevailed. The ladies won 5 of the 7, losing to both Highlands and Revere. Both varsity teams had standout performances at the 3 invitationals that we were able to participate in, Boardman, Malone, and Woodbridge. And while, we also did perform well in our virtual meet with US. Despite only racing in small sections and then combining in performance for those overall finishes. So unfortunately, league meet was different this year. We were only allowed to run the top 9, and we couldn't bring anyone else like we have done in years past. So that was definitely hard. And knowing that we weren't going to get another opportunity to allow for athletes to compete after our dual meet. However, we did perform well at the Suburban League meet. Matt Singleton won, so he is again a repeat. Well, I believe it's a 3-time most valuable player as the #1 finisher at the league meet. Andrew Plosnock earned first team along with Max Manderbach. Robert Will also earned second team along with Tommy Plosnock. Honorable mention was awarded to Zach Zabel. Both Michaela Jones and Grace Bardo and Stephanie Lubin were all first team. Victoria Bleshman, Eva Logan, and Carolina Cardamon all were second team, and Kayla Kane earned honorable mentions. Both teams came in second place. The boys team just losing to Highland by 2 points. And the girls team lost to Revere by 7. But all in all, standout performances, and it was a beautiful day to race. Districts. Whew. I'm not going to lie, that morning was rough. It started off a little crazy, and as if Miss King and I were to say Mercury was in retrograde. Don't ask if you don't know. It was actually kind of comical. The bus was late. It didn't show. We then jumped into our cars. I took several athletes into mine. As we are driving down the street, I realized my gas tank is on E. Because why would I need to put gas if I'm just going up to the school? Then I realized I don't have my wallet. Why would I need my wallet? It's race day. We pull into the gas station and Miss King forks over her wallet so that we can fill up and head out to the meet. We get there in plenty of time, but me trying to be calm and not let the team, well, you might have to ask the gentlemen that were in the car with me. I'm not sure I pulled that off. The odds were stacked against us. Unfortunately, the boys team had to be needed to be in the top 8 in order to qualify. The boys team fell short at 13th place. I'm not going to lie. I was up on the back half and I could see the boys coming in and finishing. And I knew that they didn't make it. And I knew that Matt's season was over. I knew their season was over. And I just had to take a second and collect myself because I too cried. I felt that they were cheated and they were robbed of an opportunity just because of where people sat in class. But we all knew those expectations when we signed up back in August. Collected myself, went back down to the hill and get ready for the girls' race. The boys, you should be very proud of yourselves. Despite the defeat, you gave it your all and you did your best. And there is nothing more that we could have asked of you. You should hold your heads high for the efforts that you did. As we were heading into the district meet for the ladies, unfortunately, 2 of our top athletes were sitting on the sidelines due to injury and quarantining. Wow, ladies, you dug in deep and you raced with your guts, not just for yourselves, but for your team. Only 3 of the 7 of you are returning athletes. At this level, with only 3 invitationals, that I would consider good competition to prepare you mentally for the district competition. Both Grace placed 16th and Michaela placed 21st to earn their individual spots for the following week at Boardman. Stephanie was not far behind them, just missing qualifying out. Both Melanie and Kayla fight back from injuries and surgeries from the year before to rise above and along the 2 rookies, Eva and Carolina, to advance to the regional meet. I knew we could get you race ready, but my biggest concern at this point was whether or not you would be mentally ready. You surpassed those expectations. Ladies, you are now a part of Greenman history. This is the 7th year as a Division I athlete to qualify to the regional meet. This is the 12th year since 2003, including Division II, for the female team to move on. Congratulations, you placed 7th out of 28 teams. And then at the regional meet, you placed 21 out of 24 teams. That competition was tough. There was a lot of talented athletes that really was extremely competitive. Ladies, you have all earned a regional qualifying shirt. They are unfortunately not in yet, so once they do, I will get those to you along with the 250 Club. All right, let's take a second to talk about Andrew Plosnock. In 2018, he ran a 16:56. He placed 26 at district, just missing an individual place by 6 places, while his buddy Matt takes 12th, qualifying as an individual. However, this year the boys team placed 5th to qualify as a team to the regional meet. This is the first time since 2001 when they were moved to Division I. When the team had been previously Division II, they were running a 6-year streak. But we had hit a dry spell. Matt would only qualify on to the state meet. In 2019, not only does Andy contribute to the team qualification of placing 3rd, but he takes matters into his own hands and earns his own spot at the regional placing 17th at district. Both boys gutted it out. Andy was 48th at 17:01, just 16 spots and 16 seconds from qualifying on to the state meet. Again, only Matt would race the following week at the state meet. 2020, a year of unknown, but determination. Andy has been chasing Matt for years. Did you know that not only are they good friends, but they're neighbors too? I have been fortunate enough to watch a bond between 2 boys, not as blood related, but are kindred spirits. They build each other up despite each other's losses. They rally for one another. The look of determination on Andy's face says it all. I know he was nervous, but I'm not sure many of you could tell. I knew that he didn't have Matt to chase those mornings. He would have to rely on his own perseverance and determination, not only to race for himself, but to race for his buddy who simply was not able to compete. Andy placed 12th at the district setting, a new personal record, and then Boardman's conditions were not set for personal records. The place was all that you needed, and that is exactly what he did. He earned himself a spot placing in the top 30. This year would be the year that he alone races at the state meet, while Matt returns the favor and is his +1. This year, we would not take the rest of the team, missing a huge part of what makes this program so special, the team. Ironically, in November, the state meet was probably the hottest race that we had raced all season long. And again, it was a long day of waiting. Andy rallied after that first mile being in 55th place. I could actually see him recollect himself behind that back mile. We made eye contact, he regrouped, focused, and you could tell that he just knew set determination and he wasn't giving up without a fight. He finished setting a new personal record 3 weeks after the taper with a 16:15 to now be the 5th fastest greenman and the first greenman to compete at Obed's Fortress. Andrew is now the 4th Division I athlete, the 8th overall between Division I and Division II to qualify to the state meet. Congratulations, Andrew. Your hard work and perseverance has truly paid off. Underclassmen, just saying this again, as Matt had previously stated, you need 2 flints to make a fire, and next year is going to be on fire. We have a tradition of keeping times overall the fastest greenman. Matt still holds the 2nd place behind James Sostrom, while Andy has moved up to the 5th spot. Max Manderbach has squeezed himself into the top 16 with a race performance of 17:15. And Michaela Jones breaks the 20 and runs a 19:37, bumping Morgan down just by 1 place. So she is now the 10th fastest lady greenman. Your hard work has paid off. So not only was I impressed that 30 athletes did their 250 plus miles, not knowing what they were getting into, but they were determined to put forth the work and the effort. I am fortunate enough to coach a program with a bunch of nerds. Your hard work, guys, this just blows my mind. The last time I checked, we are still in a world pandemic, yet your grades are absolutely amazing. The girls team, 96% have a 3.0 or higher. 63% of you have a 4.0 or higher. Your average is 4.1. Boys, not far behind. 91% of you have a 3.0. 44% have a 4.0. And your average is a 3.81. Congratulations, ladies, for having the highest GPA. The Suburban League recognizes those athletes with a 3.5 or higher. There are 60 of you that have qualified and earned this recognition. Congratulations. This is not an easy task. The Aurora City Schools has a demanding curriculum, and you should be very proud of those accomplishments, especially those of you that are currently still working from home or chose to go virtual at the beginning of the school year. Definitely not easy to be self-motivated and push yourselves, especially when the technology glitches and goes in and out. So congratulations on your academic achievements. I should also mention this year, I don't believe this has ever occurred, that there are 3 athletes amongst all fall sports that tied with a 5.0. We happen to have one of those athletes. Congratulations, Andy Pilarczyk, for being noted as an athlete who has the highest GPA this fall. Another academic achievement: you must be a state qualifier, an upperclassman, and you must have a GPA of a 3.5 or higher on a non-weighted scale. Andrew Plosnock also earned this award. This year, it was hard to earn both a varsity or a JV award, just simply because we just didn't have the opportunities to do that. Normally at an invitational, we'd have 2 races where varsity would race one and JV would race another, or we would have more opportunities that would allow for JV to compete in a varsity level race. We just simply didn't have those opportunities this year. This year brought on so many different challenges with exposures as well as the injuries, and trying to overcome those injuries with training. We just didn't have the ability to get the athletes into the weight room to do those alternative trainings and different rehab methods. I finally brought in my mom's bike trainer so that they could bring in their bikes so that they could ride them on the outside. And thank you to Miss King, who often sat with those athletes while the other team went out and ran. So let me list the participation awards. Matthew Quinn Arnold, Kyle Belita, Daniel Carlson, Reese Emmerich, Grant Demian, Justin Hochfelder, Aiden Houston, Benjamin Hunter, Brian Kennedy, James Kraus, Bennett Mulvaney, Aiden Sandstrom, Raj Saya, Andrew Snyder, Peter Stoikos, Grant Leading. Nicole Belita, Abigail Baker, Maya Balliner, Mia Bryant, Faith Carlson, Natalie Davitt, Isabel Della Rosa, Isabella Shaw, Shamiso Maposa, Emily Walter, Grace Williamson. Our junior varsity awards: Jacob Berry, Logan Oden, Liam Pollock, Andrew Pilarczyk, Drew Walton, Lily Brainerd, Elizabeth Evans, Molly Kennedy, Antoinette Walter. There has definitely been some great growth among the participation and the JV athletes. I look forward to seeing your continued growth in the future. First year varsity awards: Porter Ardema, Charlie Carpenter, Tommy Plosnock, Tyler Tartabini, Robbie Will, Faith Ballone, Carolina Cardamon, Avery Hendel, Kayla Kane, Melanie Keller, and Eva Logan. seniors who received both first-year and second-year varsity letters. Emmy Fallenstein, Lillian Bates, Christopher Ciceri, Michael Stoikos, second-year varsity recipients: Ryan Kerchinski, Micah Snitzer, Benjamin Stockdale, Zachary Zabel, Grace Bartow, Alexis Horvath. Our third-year varsity recipients: Andrew Plosnock, Matthew Singleton, Stephanie Lubin, Morgan Schmidt, our fourth-year varsity recipients: Michaela Jones, Victoria Bleshman, Isla Kerchinski, Max Manderbach, Justin Hartland, congratulations on earning your varsity letters. As we move on to some of the special awards, definitely did not make it easy for us this year. This year, many athletes really stepped it up this summer with training, and this was taken into consideration when selecting this award. Did you do the work in the summer? Some athletes are just naturally gifted and can show up on race day and just perform. No matter what your level is, if you do the training, most times, you naturally see the progression throughout the year and throughout the course of several years. Several athletes that stood out this year who really put in the work this summer. This athlete is only a sophomore. He's not only a team player, he is an athlete who is always doing what is expected, even when no one is looking. He continues to always put in the work and never complains, and has shown tremendous growth over the last 2 years. His first race as a freshman was 26:53, and he was able to drop that to 24:29 over his freshman year. This year, he was actually able to drop that to a 22:52, almost dropping over 4 minutes off of his time. Congratulations, Peter Stoikos. This young lady is one of the most kind and generous people. She will always give an uplifting and positive statement to her teammates. She has earned sportsmanship last year as a sophomore. She is one athlete who I recognize each week as logging her miles in the summer. I could tell it just clicked for her, and now she actually understands the process and the method of madness. She came into the season as a freshman, running about 33 minutes at her first time trial at Sunny Lake. And by the end of the season, she set a new personal record of 29:09. In 2019, she dropped to 26:40. This year, she set a new PR of 24:37, dropping 7 minutes and 23 seconds off of her first time. She continues to train hard and be a team player, and is always doing what is expected, even when no one is watching. Bella Shaw. As a ninth grader, she came into the season in the shadows of her state qualifying sibling, and not really even sure if she wanted to run or if her parents were making her. But let me be clear, when she was at practice, she always gave 110%. Race day, practice, you name it. She showed up for practice, she was there, and she put in the work. She posted a time of 28:09 in her first time trial and continued to work hard every practice, dropping her time to 26:10. She came back in 2018 with a PR of 26:14, not quite reaching her goal from the previous year. This young lady made a commitment to herself and to her team over the last 2 years to earn most improved in 2019 when she set a record of 24:21. She came back even more determined, stepped it up as a senior leader, and earned herself a spot on the postseason roster as an alternate. The ultimate personal sacrifice to continue to train, knowing you might not hit your best performance or even get the opportunity to compete, but you do that for the team. And unfortunately, this year, our alternates weren't even allowed to travel with us. She finished her career with a time of 23:58, shaving 4 minutes of her original time. Congratulations, Emmy Founstein. For a varsity athlete to drop a lot of time is a challenge when they're already performing at their top level. So just a few seconds can be a great achievement. In 2017, this athlete ran a 17:56 as a freshman, earning a spot on the varsity team. In 2018, also ran for varsity, ran a 17:38. In 2019, came back and set another PR or the same PR previous to 2018 of a 17:38. Rumor has it that he put in some summer training this summer, but wasn't quite able to crack into the 16s. He still was successfully able to break that 38-second curse and ran a 17:15. He has dropped almost 3 minutes from his first race as a freshman of 2027. He has been our most valuable freshman. He has earned league honors 3 years in a row, covering honorable mention, second team, and he has now earned his first team. Throughout the last 4 years, the boys' team could always count on him. He has ran varsity all 4 years. Congratulations, Max Manderbach. Two awards that I struggled with a little bit this year was the sportsmanship and the Warriors. I was having a conversation with Mrs. Tuma about the awards and sportsmanship and the Warrior Awards. And it came up that shouldn't every athlete be a sportsman? I thought about that for a bit. I'm still kind of thinking about it. While yes, I agree with that statement. And I would say that I'm beyond blessed that no matter what the motive for a cross-country athlete, from being something to just, being a part of a team or being part of a program or being competitive, that 99.9% of our athletes do display true character and acts of sportsmanship. This is one of the few sports that you cheer for your opponents and you congratulate another athlete or a team that outperformed you that day. And even when you are on the course fighting for your position, you genuinely want to see your peers succeed. The Warrior Award typically goes to an athlete who has overcome some adversity and had a rebound and came back into the season and overcome some external adversities, or simply a beast throughout the season. The career, and by definition, a true warrior who uses those tools in their bag to achieve the best outcome. This year, I believe that the two awards had an overlap, and an athlete could easily have earned either of those awards. This first recipient is one who's experienced great adversity over the last 2 years. The unfortunate result of training, unfortunately, too much. And that's not something that is easily identified. It really is a trial and error. As a ninth grader, she was awarded the most valuable freshman. In 10th grade year, she earned the 10th Greenman spot of running a time of 1940, but then unfortunately had an injury and hit a wall. What people didn't know was all the extra training that was going on outside of our normal practice times. She, along with 3 other athletes, would meet me right after school before practice officially started to get on a bike or get on the row machine. Or they would wait until after the workout was over, or once we got the athletes out on the run, and they again would go into the weight room or go into the resting room and get their workout in. What many athletes didn't know is that if our bus left at 8 o'clock, they met me at the track at 5:30 or 6 a.m. to get their workout in, to push themselves, to be ready to come back. Unfortunately, this year had its challenges, and we weren't able to do all of those things. We were forced to put her into a workout before she was physically ready. On the exterior, she is tough and confident. Only a few have witnessed this vulnerability. This year, she continued to push and trained, and she showed up ready to do the workout, and it hurt. And we both cried, and she quietly left practice early. We spoke later that evening, and in my mind, I thought that it was in her best interest that she stop. She showed up, said, "Nope, I'm ready to work." I knew that this year was different from last year. There was more to this setback. She was actually able to get an early appointment to a doctor before heading into the league meet. And unfortunately, she in fact had a stress fracture in her femur. And for those of you that have had anatomy, that's a large bone. That is not something that is easily doable. And it is a great injury. As much disappointment as she had, it was a relief to know that it wasn't all in her head and that she, in fact, truly had an injury. While this athlete, who had previously qualified to the regional meet, she put a smile on her face, she showed up on her crutches, and she was able to squeeze herself into attending some postseason races, in spite of her own ability to compete. To me, that is a true sportsman, putting your own feelings aside for the sake of your teammate. This second athlete is no stranger to this award. His smile is contagious. He is kind and courteous. He is this type of student athlete who is always saying good morning, goodbye, thank you, please. I often see him after school having conversations with our custodial staff when many of our athletes don't even pay them attention. He goes out of his way to be kind and courteous to everyone on his team. He never complains. He always works hard. And he was this outgoing, positive attitude that was constantly refreshing to see every day. He was part of an alternate who continued to show up and do the work, even knowing that he might not get an opportunity to compete. Charlie Chuck Carpenter. The next 2 athletes are also no strangers to this award. When the team was asked about their seniors, there was some repeat statements for both of these athletes. Statements like, they're kind, they took leadership roles, they're positive to all, they got to know all athletes, they make sure everyone was having fun, they were the first to go back and get athletes on a run, always looking out for the other athletes. Both went out of their way to be leaders that they needed to be. Christopher Cesari emailed me in the summer, right before the season started. He had been on the fence about running, and he knew and admitted that he didn't put in the miles that he had planned. However, He wanted me to know that he was committed to doing his best, and he wanted the opportunity to come out for the team. He wasted no time jumping into the leadership position. Despite all the changes and the adversities, he was an amazing role model to our younger athletes. These athletes admired him and looked up to him, and we will greatly miss him. Lily Bates. Time after time, this young lady is seen going above and beyond. She has a heart of gold. One of the most kind and generous people I have had the pleasure of working with. For those of you that don't know, last year she was our top mattress sale. And if that wasn't enough, she designed a t-shirt, something that we often spoke about, of the Pasta Club. If you eat your pasta, you will run faster. And she sold those shirts to her teammates. And all the money that she raised, she donated it back to the team. I could go on telling you stories of Lily Bates and all of the things that she continues to do. This year, she really looked out for those underclassmen and was willing to circle back, do a few more hills and a little extra long run to pick up those athletes who had fallen behind. She is a true example of her hard work and character. She is one who will often put the needs of others before her own. Congratulations to these athletes for earning Sportsmanship Award. The Warrior. Both Melanie Keller and Kayla Kane are recognized as overcoming injuries and medical surgeries from the previous year. Melanie was an athlete who also had a sibling who was a state qualifier in her early years. I had conversations with her parents that she might not even run cross country and that she was trying other sports like volleyball. Lucky for us, she saw her true potential in running. In her freshman year, she earned her varsity letter and set a PR of 22:12. But she did not do that without pain. She was often in a lot of pain. I received a phone call from Mr. Keller right before the start of the season last year that she was going to have surgery. But with PT, she would be back. She was a trooper. She showed up with her boot and her little toes sticking out at the start of the season. Slowly, she worked herself back up. It was not easy, and it was not without pain. She was discouraged. She finished some races anywhere from 28 to 26 minutes, which is pretty harsh coming from a 22:12 in the previous season. But by the end of the season, she was successfully able to drop her time down to about 24 minutes. This year, she came into the season uncertain of her abilities. I think the fear of failure was in her head. She worked very hard this year and was able to reclaim her ability and set a new PR of 21:21, rising above her adversity to achieve new growth. She was a key player in our varsity team. Kayla's story was also very similar. She was new to the district last year, and half of her family was still out of state, which to me added a personal challenge. But Aurora is where she wanted to be. I found this as impressive as a ninth grader to do such research on her own, and that she selected Aurora as her school of choice. I was excited to have her on team. She showed great promise and strong discipline to achieve her goals, very self-motivated at such a young age. She had a rough season with a lot of pain, but she continued to push through it, moving to alternative workouts with the other injured. Mentally, it was a lot, moving to a new school, taking on challenging courses, and not being able to do the one thing that you love the most. After many weeks of pain, it was determined that she would have the surgery the week of league, and it just so happened it was homecoming. So as a young girl, to give those things up because she so badly wanted to be ready for the next season. She came back this year strong and fierce. You could tell she had really worked hard in the off season. Unfortunately, right before the official season started, she suffered an injury. And I made the mistake of letting her come back too early, which then triggering the injury. She continued to train on her own, and due to the unique circumstances, she would send me her workouts each day and post them in the classroom of what she accomplished because we just didn't have the facilities to allow for them to do it. Unfortunately, she probably could have used another week of rehab, but I needed her, along with Morgan, to come back and run at Copley. It was the last opportunity that they would have before heading into the league meet. She did great. You could feel the fierceness as she passed by. Her first race out of the gate was a 21:47, earning her spot the following week in the league meet, and then again in the district meet. However, unlike Melanie's happy ending, she came to me after the district meet and made the ultimate sacrifice. It was too much too soon, and the pain was too great. She pulled herself from the regional meet and stating that the next athlete would be able to perform better. A true selflessness sacrifice for the greater good of the team. Thank you, ladies, for your hard work. These next two athletes are a little bit different. Sportsmanship, warrior, a little bit of both. Victoria Blushman is a 4-time state athlete. She has earned Suburban League second team honors 4 times. Last year, she was our most valuable runner. She has traveled to the regional meet 3 of the 4 times as a team and 1 time as an individual. This year, due to seating arrangements, her opportunity was taken away for her to earn her personal spot. But that did not stop her. When the gun went off at the same time for the girls' race, Victoria had suited up in her uniform, and it was cold outside, and raced with her team from home. Victoria is a phenomenal athlete who works very hard to get where she is going. When she races, she competes, and she races always in beast mode. If you ever see her coming, she's like a Mack truck, and you better get out of her way. Because while she is nice outside of her race, she will run you down if you're in her way. She always pushes herself beyond her limits. Not for herself, but for the success of the team. Victoria, you will truly be missed in the upcoming seasons. Zach Sabel. Now, this one was a secret. Both Ms. King and myself felt this was a no-brainer, but the 2 other coaches had selected other athletes, so we didn't tell them what our selection was. For those of you that don't know Zach as well, he's an old soul. I often forget he's only in 10th grade. He's quiet, he's kind, he's respectful. He's just simply enjoyable to be around. He has a positive outlook on life, and never once does he ever complain about being the first one at practice or the last one to leave practice. He never gave 1 ounce of disappointment that he was now sharing his biggest fan club with the rest of the team. In Zach's 2 short years, he has earned his varsity letter twice. He has earned second team league honors as well as honorable mention. I was in the car with him when he got the call that he would be quarantined. He was stuck with me, helping me get water and other items to put in the car after completing his workout to head over to Hartman Field, where his parents were located, setting up for the race. He had just crushed his workout. And as some of you have experienced, this is a blow like no other. And then you have to be in the car with your coach when you get this news. Then his family traveled without him to Boardman, and we all know that's the best race that we work for, and he had to sit out at Highland. Each day, he logged into the classroom and he did the work that was expected of him. He wasn't sick, but he was hungry for success. He was able to come back at Malone, which was not an easy course. He was disappointed in his performance, but if you look at his time, he knocked 13 seconds off of his season best, not including Kent, that was short, and that course was a beast. I know Zach put a lot of work in this summer and came into the season strong. I know he didn't hit his personal goal, but he was able to recover and return to the team and become a contributing member of the varsity team. Once his season was done, he continued to come to practice and run with Andy and even warm up with Andy at the regional meet. He is a true team player and a great warrior, and we are lucky to have him on the team. Rookies. We changed this award this year. Normally, we consider this our most valuable freshman. And sometimes we have some tough freshmen. It was an easier one to pick, but yet we had multiple athletes that were very well deserving and continue to push themselves to be in the top 10 athletes from week to week. And many of our athletes set new personal records each week. What makes this group different? All 4 of these athletes were new to cross country, and all 4 earned their 250 club. And many of them came to many, if not all, of the summer practices. Both Robbie and Carolina were extremely consistent week to week, and they were often found in the top 7, if not the top 4 or 5, week to week to add to the varsity team score. They were truly a key player in the team's overall season performance. Both Tommy and Eva, I wanted to mention that they also continue to be in the top mix, but there was an extra set of fierceness in them. When they were told the expectations headed into the league meet, that they had to be in the top 7 in order to compete at districts, because only at districts would be a true varsity, only 7. They took this to heart. When that gun went off and they crossed that finish line, both of these 2 freshmen were 5th for the team, ensuring that they were on the postseason roster. Most valuable runner. Man, again, I wish they would just make this easy. Each week, this duo would run together, and each week, one would just have a better week. They got better at learning how to use that to push each other and break new records. I think they had 1 tie. I think Michaela had 5 wins and Grace had 4, with the exception that she dropped out of 1. Both ladies qualified to the regional meet as individuals. Grace is a natural beast who still doesn't know her full potential. As a freshman coming late to the game, she became the most valuable freshman who earned her first team Suburban League honors and earned herself, along with the team qualification, 2 individual spots at the regional meet. She has a lot of room for growth, and the next 2 years will be exciting to watch. Michaela is a 4-time letter recipient. She has earned 2 second team, 2 first team league honors. She has earned most valuable freshman. She has been a contributor to 3-time regional meet qualification, as well as the year qualifying as an individual. She worked extremely hard this summer to bust into the 19s, earning herself a spot in the top 10 fastest greenmen. I know she didn't completely reach her personal goal of qualifying to the state meet, but she has been a key player and monumental in the overall performance of the varsity team in the last 4 years. She will be deeply missed. No surprise, this next 2. So at the state meet, we asked both Matt and Andy who should earn the MVP award. They both giggled and they teased each other and went on about who was more deserving of the award. I can't remember officially what they decided on what Andy would have to run at the state meet in order to get MVP. I think it was something like break 16. While he did not achieve that, he did set a new personal record and represented Greenman proud. Andrew has earned Most Valuable Freshman, Most Improved Varsity Athlete, Sportsmanship. He's a two-time first team, second team, league honors, and he has been a part of the qualifying team to the regional meet, as well as this year, an individual qualifier, who then ran at the state meet. Matthew Singleton is a three-time league MVP, taking first place all 3 years. He is a two-time regional qualifier, both team and as an individual. He is a two-time state qualifier. Last year, he was on the podium and was the fastest 10th grader in Division I and placed 10th overall. We are confident that if he had had the opportunity to compete, he would have been in the top five, if not fighting for first place. There is no question that both are phenomenal athletes who work hard day in and day out. There is no question that they are team players. There is no question that without them, the team does not advance. Clearly evident in missing Matt this year at districts and only Andy advancing. The team could not do it without either of them, which is why they both received the MVP. So as we move on to the senior speeches, I want to take this time to say thank you very much, seniors, for all of your hard work and commitments over your cross-country career. It has been my pleasure to have you on the team and to be able to work alongside you. Your hard work and dedication is amazing.
Wallace, we're at Kent State University. Justin Bartlett. Justin is the son of Jay and Kate Bartlett. He has been with the cross-country program for 4 years. He plans to go to college and study aerospace engineering. Ryan Gunship Kennedy. Ryan is the son of Amy and John Kennedy. He has been with the program just a half year. He does plan to go to college, but his dream is to become a heavyweight champion of the world. Like plans on finishing the season and continuing to stay athletic. Lily Bates. Lily is the daughter of Lisa and Rob Bates. She has been with the program for 4 years and plans to attend the University of Pittsburgh, undecided in arts and sciences. Victoria Blechman. Victoria is the daughter of Denise and Dan Blechman. She has been with the program for 6 years. She's not sure where she's going to college yet, but wants to go to school and eventually find a job in the arts. Emmy Fellenstein. Emmy is the daughter of Stephanie and Bill Fellenstein. She has been with the program for 6 years, and she wants to study zoology in college. Michaela Jones. Michaela is the daughter of Amanda and Mike Jones. She has been with the program for 4 years. Plans on majoring in biotechnology or environmental science. And Isla Kuczynski. Isla is the daughter of Mike and Jenny Kuczynski. She has been running with the program for 6 years. She plans to pursue a career that helps others, hopefully at the Ohio State University. Thank you to all of our students and their families for their commitment to the Aurora Cross Country program. And good luck in the
Chris. There really isn't one like him. His positive attitude, head down and moving forward mindset. Can it get any better than that? The simple yet memorable memory I have with Chris was about a year ago. I was on a run at Sunny Lake, and I finished and I realized I left my phone at home. And I couldn't drive yet, so I was stuck and I wasn't running home because I planned on finishing there. And who do I see? Good old Chris. And with a smile on his face, he asked how I was doing. And when I asked for a ride, he didn't even hesitate to say yes. And it meant a lot to me. Even though it was a simple thing, I appreciate it greatly. It's that positive mindset and kindness that gets you extremely far in life. And I can't wait to see where it carries him. Chris, you are a great person and a great friend. I'm glad to know you and honored to share the same jersey. I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. Thank you. Justin Hartman, what a guy. There's too much to say, honestly. First off, Justin, you are one of the most honest, dedicated, and considerate people that I know. The amount of times that you give me a ride when I needed one or just simply asked how my day was really means a lot. But there's this one time in particular that really sticks out. So, I texted the cross-country group chat this one time, and I'm like, alright, so, who wants to run a marathon with me? A very simple, yet horrifying question. So, and the first person to respond within 5 seconds was Justin, going, alright, I'm in. When and where are we doing this? And obviously Andy said yes, but Nobody else did, just them two. So I go over to Andy's house in the morning. I'm like, all right, Andy, let's go. Get to the golf course. Justin's already there waiting. Start the run. Andy had to leave a little bit early, but Justin was still there. Me and him kept going. Mile 10, we stopped to get a drink of water at his house. Oh yeah, we hit that halfway point. Whew, that was a good time. And every single mile and every single grueling step we endured together during those 26.2 miles was for no gain except the experience. And that's all it took for Justin. People like that are impossible to come by these days. And I know for a fact he will take the same attitude when tackling life, and I know he will do great things. Justin, I thank you for everything, and I wish you the best of luck.
I have the pleasure of discussing all of the wonderful attributes of a person who brought a ton of smiles and laughs to everyone's faces all season. Guesses, anyone? Anyone? You probably guessed right. His name is Brian Kennedy. The first time I ever met Brian was at a summer practice. Coach told us to run 4 miles. Right after she said this, I feel a tap on my shoulder. I turn around and see a kid I've never met before. He says to me in a jokingly way, "The most I've ever ran is 2. I looked at him and laughed and thought to myself, this kid is in for a long season. Ever since that practice, Brian became one of the hardest workers on the team and came a long way from that first practice. His 2 miles turned into an easy 8, and he went from not knowing anyone on the team to being one of the favorites. And his energy always lifted the team up, even through the toughest of practices. Brian is an avid lifter. Every day after practice, no matter how far or how hard we had to run, he always found the energy and drive to go lift. This shows a lot about Brian's character. He is a hardworking, devoted individual who is very humble. He would never brag or talk about his lifting. He just went on about his way and did it quietly. Brian loved to wear a mask, and he never had to be reminded to put it on. Right, Mr. Zabel? He was always nice to the underclassmen, especially Logan, and you would be shocked to hear that he can do 100 push-ups in a row without a break. Whether it was tripping over political signs on our runs or shaking parking lot signs before practice, Brian never failed to make us laugh. In only 1 year of being on the team, Brian left a lasting impression on our team and coaches, and we will think about him fondly for years to come. And Brian, I forgot something. You dropped this.
One person who has impacted this team during this very trying season, it's Max Vanderbach. Now, Max has had his own battles to deal with, don't get me wrong. He tied his overall PR the past 2 seasons, and this year he wasn't having that. But that didn't deter him from being an integral part of the team. Although he isn't a very outspoken person, Max leads through his support for the team and everyone on it. From including new runners like Tommy and Robbie, to getting together outside of practice, he creates a feeling of unity. In workouts, he was always ready on that last repeat to sprint it out and bring everyone up with him. Now, everyone's also wondering where all this energy is coming from. But that's just how Max runs. In practice or a meet, it doesn't matter. He has to sprint it out all the way to the finish. And with more than 30 miles over the summer, for the first time, it paid off for his senior year. He was able to cut his old PR down by over 20 seconds from 17:38 to 17:15. But above all that, Max made cross-country fun. Through his attitude during runs and demeanor at practice, it made me and everyone else like the sport so much more. He made me enjoy cross-country a lot, and for that, I thank him. Good luck next year, Max, and I hope you find success with whatever comes your way.
When I think about a guy like Aiden Sandstrom, I get a little teary in my eyes. You know, Aiden was, without a doubt, 100% one of the best leaders our team has ever had. Aiden, every practice is taking charge. Warm-ups. Aiden's always taking charge. He's getting the team ready. He's getting them ready to go for coach. Hey, we're stretching out. Aiden's leading the team. He's always at the front showing them how it's done. In a workout, especially, Aiden's always setting that example. He's going 110% every single time we're doing something. Why? Because for the team. Aiden knows, hey, I may not be the fast runner every day, but he knew one thing. He knew that he could lead a team every day, and that's what he did. You know, I get a little sad thinking about this, but I remember just a few months ago, Aiden coming into practice. He told us he had a groin injury, and the whole team was devastated. You know, we lost not only one of our best runners, we lost one of our best teammates, one of our best leaders. And, you know, that was probably one of the saddest practices I've ever been to. You know, I think the rest of the team can attest to that. But what we didn't know is that Aiden would keep grinding every day. Every day, Aiden's putting in the work for the team, trying to get what's best for us. Because he knows, hey, I may have this groin injury that's painful. One of the most painful things. I'm thinking about it, man, that had to hurt. But Aiden kept working at it. Not for himself, but for the team. And that's the beauty of Aiden. You know, I remember running every race, and there was one person I knew there that I could count on, and that's Aiden Sandstrom. Aiden's always cheering you on. I see Aiden maybe at the corner there, at the straightaway. You've got Aiden there to cheer you on, to get through that race. And, you know, that's something not a lot of people would do like Aiden. Aiden just, through adversity, through everything, he kept grinding. Whether it be a groin injury, whether it be a rainy day, whether it be a hard workout, Aiden's grinding, giving 110%. And you know what else? Not only was Aiden a grinder, he was just a great guy. If there's someone I'm, going out to have a couple drinks with, it's going to be Aiden Sandstrom. He's always joking around. He's got, funny person, bringing the bright energy to the team. He's cheering us on. You know what? Aiden was all around the man. I mean, think about Aiden, I'm like, man, that guy, just love to talk to him. You know, everyone loved to talk to him. Everyone loved to be around him. Aiden was the hero to our team that we needed. You know, I'd like to thank you, Aiden, for everything you've done for us, for our team, for the program. Done for me, Aiden. You're an amazing guy. I wish you the best. Peace out, Aiden. It's been real.
With cross country, has had its ups and downs, but one thing was certain: he always showed up. Sometimes he showed up in a big way, like his win at Cloverleaf. Other times he just showed up for practice. But the biggest way Michael has shown up for me over the years is something very different than just running. A major problem during cross country practice, particularly during long runs or recovery runs, is what to talk about for an entire hour. Over the years as a team, we have talked about a lot of things, and sometimes it's hard to come up with new topics. That's not the case if you're on with Michael. He knows what he wants to talk about. Video games. Anything from Sonic to Mario, Zelda to Pokemon, he is armed and ready with enough knowledge to keep anyone occupied for hours, much less a single hour we have to run. In my own conversation with Michael, we discussed the merits of Super Mario Galaxy 2 versus Super Mario Odyssey, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and many other titles. Now, it might seem like this one topic could get old, but Michael knows so many different things about so many different games that it never does. We can have conversations again and again, filling up those long hours of running. So thank you, Michael, for being a great teammate, and good luck with whatever path life takes you.
Oh, Lily Bates. The first thing I think of when I hear that name is her contagious positive energy. She's always laughing and always has a smile on her face. She's one of the most caring and welcoming people I've ever met. From befriending everyone to showing great sportsmanship, Lily is one of the sweetest souls on and off the course. There was one specific day we had a long run, and she circled back multiple times to make sure everyone was okay. Now that's a great teammate. She's always there to encourage us through tough workouts and celebrate after the races. She always picks you up when you are down and never fails to make you smile. She's most famously known for being the CEO of Pasta Club, even making us all shirts. You can guarantee she will yell something funny to you when racing and throw her arms out to the sides of the finish line. She also always has a speaker with her to pump us up. Some of my favorite memories from Cross are laughing our heads off before almost every race, especially the day we planned Thanksgiving dinner. I sure will miss the endless laughs, spag dinners, pre-race pump-ups, ice cream runs, and everything in between. Even though I'm sad to see her move on, I know she'll make a huge impact in her next chapter. I will forever be grateful that Cross brought me such a caring, supportive, and funny friend. She will create something beautiful with her positive shining light. She surely has left her impact on Aurora Cross Country, and she will always be known for her outstanding positivity.
If you ask any of the cross-country runners why they're a part of this sport, it's not often they'll tell you to run. Perhaps they'll say the pasta. Perhaps they enjoy suffering 3 hours a day, 6 days a week. But most often the answer they'll give you is the people. Cross-country is a sport of perseverance, but in many ways it is also a sport of connections. The relationships we form now will stay with us for months, years, maybe even our entire lives. And when we think of cross-country, there's one senior in particular that comes to mind.
There are some people who you will never forget. People with whom you form such deep bonds with, the moments that you share together will become some of the most vivid and enduring memories that you will ever have. I will always remember the moments that I shared with this senior, singing Secret Tunnel at the top of our lungs as we ran underneath the bleachers, petting every single dog in sight at each meet. This senior works hard each and every day, never giving less than her best effort. She always knows exactly how to make me laugh, even when I'm having a bad day. I am beyond grateful for the unwavering kindness and friendship that she has given me these past years.
I mean, she's just really cool. That's the only way I can put it. You will never step away from an encounter with this girl without being affected, either by her charisma, her energy, or her kindness. She's so unique, it's almost as if everything she does should be caught on camera. It's never a dull moment when I'm with her, and I know my life is better because she is a part of it.
These amazing qualities are what makes spending time with her so enjoyable. Cross country over these past few years just wouldn't have been the same without her kind smile or words. Words cannot express how and describe how lucky we are to be her friend. Cross country is a sport of connections, and the connections that we have forged with her will stay with us forever. We have faith that wherever she goes, she will do great, because she is an exceptional person and an exceptional friend.
I'd call her Vicky, but she'd probably kill me. So, thank you for the memories, Victoria.
Michaela Jones has become one of my best friends both on and off the team, and although I couldn't run much this year, she still made me feel like I was part of the team. I was able to watch her grow and improve so much throughout the season, and basically every time she ran, she would get a new PR. But oftentimes, I would very kindly remind her that my PR was better than hers, until one week, at one of the hardest courses, she beat my PR by 3 seconds. She is such a determined athlete who puts so much work and dedication into the season. In the summer, Michaela would drag me onto runs I did not want to go on, and send me core videos I had no interest in. Aside from being a great athlete, she's a hilarious friend who can always make me smile. We've made so many great memories, and I can't wait to make so many more with her. Thank you for being you, Michaela, and I can't wait to come visit you at Catawba.
Let me just take a second to talk about our scholarship. From 2007 to 2011, Tommy Dinkelson was a part of the Aurora cross country family, while his older siblings, Annie and Michael, were members of the cross country team. Throughout these years, the athletes, the coaches, and the families were consistently kind and welcoming to Tommy, as they were delighted to have a devoted fan nearby. Tommy faced special challenges each day as a person with autism, but he always persevered despite the barriers in his world. He always gave his best effort. Jack Morrison was a part of the Aurora cross country family from 2009 until 2011, when his son Justin Morrison was a member of the cross country team. Mr. Morrison enjoyed his 3 years of involvement with the cross country team, and he supported both the boys and the girls team. Jack always helped with timing the athletes, and his positivity was appreciated by the runners. Mr. Morrison was so committed to the program and to the athletes that he never missed a meet, even if his son was not racing. He was so proud of Justin, but also of the whole team. He always offered encouraging words to all. Sadly, Tommy Dinkelson died suddenly in October of 2011, and Mr. Morrison died in October of 2014. This scholarship is in their memory. It is to recognize not necessarily the fastest athlete or the most talented athlete, but the athlete who always gives their best effort each day, and they are positive role models, and they are continue to be kind and encouraging and a true teammate. It is with no surprise that Emmy Fellenstein is our first recipient of the award. Listen to the speech, and I'll share with you a few quotes that their teammates had shared.
Perhaps one of the more unique individuals on the cross-country team, our senior is special in more ways than one. Through her dedication and benevolence, she has garnered the admiration of many, and it is with this admiration that we dedicate this speech to her. I've had the opportunity of knowing the senior outside of cross-country, and I have to say, she is as compassionate, as generous, and as wonderful to be around, even outside of the sport. COVID hit especially hard for the class of 2021, but this year's seniors really stepped it up to make cross-country an enjoyable experience for everyone. Our senior especially took a stand in the face of uncertainty and decided that she would let it dictate the way she wanted to spend her final cross-country season. She showed up to practice with a smile on her face every day and remained strong and resilient as a figure other runners like me could look up to. There are few characters I admire as much as I admire this senior.
This senior is a great example of a cross-country athlete. I met her in 7th grade through cross-country. I remember her being welcoming and kind to everyone. She keeps a positive attitude no matter what, and she works so hard in everything. In cross-country is no different. In high school, she's continued being kind and welcoming to everyone. She's one of the most caring people I know, whether it be for animals or people. It was so much fun to meet her chickens and goats. I'm really glad cross-country brought us together. I've had so much fun over the years with her. She treats everyone with respect and kindness, no matter who they are. Next year isn't going to be the same without her. She's a well-rounded person that will do well wherever she goes next. Emmy, we're all going to miss you so much next year, and we can't wait to see what you do.
When asked, some of her peers had these things to say. Emmy Fellenstein, because she's always encouraging to everyone around her and is a great leader. Emmy Fellenstein was so incredibly encouraging and kind to everyone and always tried to improve week after week. Emmy Fellenstein, because she always puts forth her best effort, no matter how she is feeling. She makes everyone feel included and is a great leader. She is a good role model and always knows how to put a smile on your face. It has to be Emmy. I've ran cross with Emmy for quite a few years now, and she has always made me feel welcome. She is a delight to talk to and is always making sure everyone feels included. I would choose Emmy because she's always works really hard to train and she always super supportive of everyone around her. She is one of the most positive people I know, and I think she's deserving of this scholarship. Emmy, when I think of a senior in cross country, she is the first person I think of. She would usually try and lead stretches, and I would always be encouraging after a workout and races. She especially went out of her way to make friends with the freshmen and make sure they felt included. It is with great honor to award Emmy Fallenstein with the Tommy Dankelson and Jack Morrison Scholarship.
If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are a leader. John Quincy Adams. When John Quincy Adams wrote this, he probably did not envision a world where girls ran long distances for fun. But his quote continues to be relevant today, especially when I think of my teammate Isla Kurczynski. Isla, throughout the cross-country season, you have continued to inspire me and help me push myself to be the best I could be. You accept people where they are at and push them to be better. You don't judge people, but instead give them unconditional support no matter who they are. After difficult workouts like cat and mouse, you would send me kind text messages that made me feel so accomplished and proud of myself. You helped schedule Saturday practices for our little running group and helped the cross-country season be as fun as it could possibly be with the unfortunate circumstances. I watched you work so hard at practice every day, and this motivated me to do the same. But not only did you inspire and motivate me to reach my goals, you also became an amazing friend to me. Growing up, you have been one of the closest things to a big sister I've ever had. From making fairy gardens at the cottage to camping and playing Mario Kart in your basement, you have been one of my longest friends. Through cross country and running together every day, we have become so much closer, and I look forward to running with you at practice. Next year, I will miss you so much, and cross country will not be the same without you. In the 1 year that I was able to run with you, you have taught me the importance of hard work and encouraged me to be the best I could be. Thank you for being one of the biggest reasons my first high school cross country season was as fun, adventurous, and as memorable as it was. I can never imagine a world without cross country, and I will miss you not being part of it. Love, Molly.
Some of the athletes to say about Isla. Isla always worked hard during the workouts and was a good role model. She also would lead stretches and would be genuinely kind to everyone on the team. Isla has always been so kind and encouraging. She is friends with everyone and is always smiling and was always positive during practices and workouts. Isla Kurczynski, because she is always pushing herself to get better. She is always so positive and encouraging. She is a great leader and makes everyone feel included. Even if you are having a bad day, she can always make you smile. I would choose Isla because she works really hard, and I think she represents our cross-country team well. She is always welcoming and underclassmen and never complains. She is one of the nicest people I know, and I think she is deserving of this scholarship. Isla Kurczynski. I would choose her because she showed up to practice every day, even after her season technically ended, and always had a smile on her face. Isla is also very supportive and encouraging to every runner on the team. It is with pleasure and honor to announce Isla Kurczynski as our second recipient of the scholarship. I think one athlete said it best when combined both the ladies in their comments. I love Isla as I love Emmy, for she has been nothing but kind towards the rest of us. She is always so supportive and encouraging and is a great team player. Isla and Emmy would arrange workouts at the Hartman Field for those of us that ran together on Saturdays that the varsity was racing. Those were some of the best days of my season this year. Congratulations, ladies. Thank you again to the class of 2020, 2021. Best wishes in the next chapter. While the season may not have been everything that you wanted or anticipated, remind yourselves, we got to have a season. And by no means is this story over. Seniors, you are off to bigger and better things, and only you write the story. Underclassmen, this is just the beginning, and see you in 2021. Again, please note, most of the photos came from Mr. Deptola's Smug Mug account. The link is posted. Mrs. Zabel also has pictures posted along with the other appearance on Shutterfly. Please feel free to check those out in your free time. Please thank you very much for listening to this presentation this year. I know it was not an ideal situation. I hope that I was able to express all of the amazing things, and I'm sorry that I wasn't able to talk about each and every athlete. Everyone had a tremendous season, no matter where they started, but they finished better than they started. Wishing you all a safe and healthy, happy new year.